Hey, Sami here. I'm not your typical job counselor. I work remote and I travel the world as I kickstart careers. This is raw, real, and on the road.
Hi, I'm Sami with the Career Kickstart Show. I am super excited to have Cara Miles on my show today. She's a personal transformation coach, but more than that, she really has been walking the talk. Not only has she transformed her own life, she's currently a digital nomad and traveling. She can help other people do that as well. And I really want to I'll let her describe herself, but this is going to be a juicy episode where we're really going to delve into making shit happen for yourself. So, Cara, would you please introduce yourself and just give everybody a little bit about you?
Sure thing. So thanks heaps for having me on the show, Sami. So excited to be here. So like you said, I'm a digital nomad and I support people who want to become digital nomads as well. So I work with awesome, fun, go-getting people who really want to blow up their lives. So you kind of mentioned it. I did it for myself and I really love working with people and supporting them to do the same thing. So going from the boring office job that they're not really that excited about to living an exciting, awesome, location-independent lifestyle. So what it means is that I support people to create a values-based lifestyle. So to figure out what it is that's important to them and then really go for it and make that happen. So lots of people, when they actually stop and think about what they want in their life and what's important to them, working a 9-to-5 job that's probably actually more like 8 till who knows when, actually doesn't really fit with their values. It's not something that's super important to them. So I really work with people to figure out what it is that they want and then to help them to go and get it. So I'm all about breaking down the blocks and the barriers that are keeping people stuck and stopping them from breaking through that fear to really go for it and create the life that they want. So to become location independent, really take that plunge and go for it.
Awesome. It's like you almost reverse engineer dreams. I love that because especially doing the digital nomad thing, even though it's gotten bigger in the last couple of years, it's still something that when you want to do that, and you talk to, I guess you call them the normies, they're why would you want to do that? Why would you want to backpack there? Why would you want to take, the Trans-Siberian train? Why do you want to live in Guatemala? And having to explain that kind of almost wacky dream to people can be difficult.
100%. I think that's so funny that you bring that up. I remember I went to the Philippines probably 5 years ago now. I can't even remember. But lots of people said to me, oh, why? When I said I'm going to the Philippines, they just said, why? Why are you going there? It's like, this has become my standard answer since then, to see what's there.
I love it's like the chicken that crossed the road. You just wanted to get over to the other side.
Exactly.
Now, Cara, could you kind of go into, because you've made this transformation, you've helped other people become digital nomads. What do you say is the most common thing that people think is a barrier, but might be more in their heads? And what thing is an actual challenge for people to begin? Because when I started, I was really, for some reason, concerned with packing, as if other countries didn't have items of personal use that I could buy. And I was so focused on the actual logistics of travel, when really, when I got out here, the biggest thing I had to worry about was okay, I need to work on time management so I actually do my job and not get distracted because, I'm in Prague. So just to repeat the question, what is the most common thing that people think is a challenge, and what is actually the most common challenge to becoming a digital nomad?
I think often there's so many fears that come up for people around, like you said, things that really they don't need to be a big deal, whether it's packing or whether it's what's the Wi-Fi going to be like, which obviously can be a challenge. But once you're on the road and once you've actually taken the plunge, all of these things become so much more manageable, and you deal with it. Like you mentioned about packing, really, so long as you've got like your bank card or your credit card and your passport with you, you're going to be okay. So, there's so many things. People worry about, what are my friends and family going to say? What if I don't make it? Like, what if, if you've got a remote job or you're looking to do freelance or start your own business, what if it doesn't work out? What if I'm going to have to go home? So I really encourage people to think about, well, what is the worst that can happen? Okay, maybe it doesn't work out. Maybe you decide that this lifestyle is not for you and you do have to go home. But is that really the end of the world? And is that a really good reason to not go for it at all? I think that's something that's super important to think about. Like, is it the fear that's holding you back? And if it is, then that's no excuse not to do it. Like, it's something that totally you have to work on it. You have to work and get over that fear. But you don't want to stay in a job that you hate, in a life that doesn't really bring you joy and meaning, just because you're scared or, afraid to do something different. Even if that something is kind of something that's maybe important to you, but that no one else in your world understands.
Oh, it's so true. I think people don't realize the cost that comes with settling. I know we think about the cost that comes with taking a risk and going on the adventure and what's the worst thing that could happen if I'm a digital nomad. But think about the worst thing that could happen if you stay in that job or that life or that relationship or whatever that you dislike. Like that kind of psychological toll, is for me more of a cost than, I might get lost in Munich and have to ask a friendly German for help. Oh no, I'm just in Europe. What am I going to do?
Exactly. And, you're only ever, well, for me, so I'm from Australia, I'm only ever really probably maximum 24 hours away from home. So it's not, you can be on the other side of the world, something can go wrong and it's not really going to be the end of the world, or something goes wrong at home and you really want to be at home. You can make that happen, and you can make it happen really quickly now, the way that the world is connected.
It is so true. One of the things that it seems like for some new nomads is that they don't realize that they can go home at any time. It's not like you go home and it's like, well, you're home and you got to stay there because you got one shot. No, you can even set it up, because I'm somebody who, I have a very close family. I try to make sure that I, end up there 3 times a year, and I have a little routine. I go down South America, north up, Europe, South America. Like, you can do like a little loop-de-loo and meet all the people that you like. That's one of the best things about this lifestyle, is that I can visit all my people. I don't have to wait for some HR person to tell me that I have enough time off.
Exactly. And that's something I think is so important. And that's one of the reasons that I chose this lifestyle, is that you can make your life the way that you want it to be. You're not constrained by the idea of, 4 weeks, or even in the States, I think it's only 2 weeks of annual leave a year. That's not that much time if you want to travel and go out and see the world. So the thing about being a digital nomad, I think there's this perception that you have to be on the road all the time, that you have to be going to different places, every month or 2 months or 2 weeks, whatever it might be. But really, it's actually just a way or a tool that means that you can live your life how you want to live it. If that means spending 6, 8, 10 months at home, that's okay. It's really about, for me, the lifestyle and my coaching is about tapping into what it is that's going to give people joy and meaning, and how do they create the life that they want to live. So it's not about kind of, well, I'm a digital nomad, so this is what I have to do. You do it a particular way. You're allowed to experiment and explore and see what works for you, and if you treat it in that way as an experiment, then you take some of the pressure off yourself. If you decide that you want to be home 6 months of the year, or you want to go home 3 times a year, like you said, it's not a problem. You're allowed to do it. There's no right or wrong way to do this.
No, there's not. And I feel like some people really think that there is. And don't get me wrong, once you actually get out there, you do sporadically meet that like one guy who's like, oh, you went to Playa del Carmen? What a tourist. And it's like, oh my God, I'm sorry I didn't arrive here on the most authentic chicken truck that I could find. So I could really feel in touch with whatever the authenticity. But like, that's something where like the year of traveling that I've had so far, like that's like been the first time anybody's ever like stuck their nose in the air and been like, ew, you're not as fancy as the rest of us nomads. And it's like, okay, I get it. But I think that some people do worry about being judged, like they're not authentic enough or they're not a real digital nomad. So, and you can feel that on either side with your friends and family or with what you perceive the nomad community to be. So, do you mind telling me how you can kind of roll with what can happen if your friends and family may not be as supportive as you like, and if you feel insecure joining this new digital nomad world?
So I think it's about partly about connection. So connecting back to whoever it is that you need to connect with. So if you're feeling kind of intimidated by the digital nomad community, then make sure that you're still in touch with the people who are at home. If you find that your friends and family aren't supportive, then get in touch with the digital nomad community. So link in with the people who help you to feel good about you. You know, at the beginning of my journey, I had loads of people who kind of reached out and said, Cara, I'm so inspired by what you're doing. And that was friends who I actually was concerned about, you know, what was their opinion going to be of what I was doing? Were they going to think that I'd thrown in this good job, this, you know, potential career, thrown it away in order to travel the world? You know, and I mean, that sounds cool to me, but plenty of people out there, I think, don't really understand why someone would do that. So I think it's really making sure that you're supported, making those connections with people, and also being cautious too about who you share that information with. So you know, your information is your information. You get to disclose as much or as little as you would like to. And so if you know that there are friends that might not be that supportive, then maybe that's not who you share your plans with when in the lead up to your trip. You know, they might know that you're going away. They might know some of the information, but maybe you don't share all of the nuts and bolts. So you don't share your fears with them because maybe they're not going to give you the response that you're looking for. I guess on the other hand, and the flip side of that is that when you do get the response of you shouldn't do that, why are you doing that, I can't believe it, you know, how are you going to make money, what if it doesn't work out? When people, when they come up with those fears, it's most likely the people who are closest to you who will say those kind of things, and know that actually for them it's coming from love. It's coming from a place of concern, that they're worried about you, and that's their fear, but it doesn't need to stop you. Just take it as a blessing of love, but don't let it stop you going and doing what it is that you want to do.
Oh, and that is so true. I feel like oftentimes we sometimes go to those people subconsciously because we know they're going to validate the fear that we have, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's really good to understand, like, not every dream should be shared. So thank you. We're getting towards the end of the interview, Cara, so I really want to make sure that everyone who's listening can get a chance to know where they can find out more about you, where you're hanging out online, anything cool you're doing. So could you give us just a run through on, if people want to get more of the Cara Miles experience, where do they go?
Sure thing. Well, if you start by heading over to my website, so caramiles.com, that's Cara with a C, you can find out all about what I'm up to over there. If you would like to, you can follow me on Facebook and on Instagram as well. I'm cara.miles on Instagram, and Cara Miles, all one word, on Facebook. You'll find my Facebook page as well. That's probably the easiest ways to reach out and connect with me or to find out what I'm up to. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Cara, for being on the show today. I truly do appreciate it. And thank you all for listening. I am Sami Gardner, and this is the Career Kickstart Show.